Good morning. It is March 5th, and as you can see, it is gorgeous out where I live right now. Sorry for anybody who lives anywhere else, but I got my own bad time coming up here in the middle of the summer, so uh, quick walk around here. So this is my backyard. This is in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. This is March, and as you can see, we are definitely into spring. It's supposed to be like 85 degrees today, so beautiful out. As you can see, things are starting to come back to life and greening up in the yard. Grass is starting to kind of come back a little bit where it's gotten a little bit warmer. It's hard to see out there, but on my vegetable gardens, I got tomatoes and zucchinis and some melons planted and other stuff going on, and more tomatoes, and so some of my leftover winter vegetables coming up still. Got cabbages back there and more tomatoes and some zucchinis coming up. So, my pet dinosaur dog. So, left over from Halloween, but my kid loves it, so it gets to stay. Anyway, so let's go back and talk about what I am thinking about today. And as you can see, I got kids. As you can see, it's still been kind of cool at night, so I've been running the heater. But Life and Liberty long arms. Okay? What do I mean by Life and Liberty long arms? Long arms, guns, rifles, boom, yeah, fun. All right. What I mean by Life and Liberty firearms is rifles, and this is long arms, that I trust to go bang every single time. And so we'll pretty much go through my collection of more tactical-ish type guns. I do have hunting rifles that I'm not including on this list because they're completely a different purpose for owning them, although they could be doubled over for some of this, and some of these could be doubled over for that. So let's talk about this. Now, everything's upside down on the table right now because I'm on the wrong side. But let's talk about long arms, my thought processes, my shoes, sorry. Anyway. And then what I think about these. So for all of you guys who know guns, you all know what that is. That's a Celtic Sub 2000. This lives in a backpack, and it lives with me almost everywhere I go. It's in my vehicle, it's on me. I carry a full med kit in that bag. You guys may have seen that video. I actually carry 2 full med kits in that bag. And I carry this, and I carry some other stuff. And the reason why is I believe in the modern world that there is a chance that you may run into an active shooter situation. While I carry a handgun all the time, and that would be my primary go-to, if I found myself needing a long gun, this is with me. It is a carbine. It's a 16-inch length barrel. It fires the 9mm, and I do keep the standard mag in the grip because that makes it fit in the backpack a lot better. But I do carry 2 33-round Glock stick mags with it too. And I do download those magazines 230 for 2 reasons. One is they are a booger to load all the way up, and the second one is I just like to make sure the springs don't get too over compressed. So when I want them to work, they work. That being said, I have fired quite a few rounds through this gun, and it has been absolutely 100% reliable. It has had 0 malfunctions, and it is definitely accurate out to 100 yards. It's the farthest I've shot it, but it definitely will hit point of aim at 100 yards, which is pretty cool for a 9mm. Again, with a 60-inch barrel, you've really maximized the amount of velocity the 9mm will get. I've seen some chronograph tests on this where you're with a hot 9mm, you're getting up into about the 1,600 foot per second range. Okay. And so again, this is compact, it's lightweight, it lives with me, it is reliable. I know people hate Celtics, and I'm not a huge, always Celtic fan. However, I do like this gun. I highly recommend this gun. I would not recommend running an optic on it. They do make mounts for them. They are cumbersome and hard to use and would just slow you down in deploying it. So run the iron sights. You do have to use like a weird face weld to get down low enough to use them. But that being said, once you figure that out, they are accurate and they do work. So again, Life and Liberty type gun, absolutely. This gives me some rifle-like capabilities if a really bad situation happens. All right. Now we're going to skip up the table. C308, Ruger Mini 14, Maverick 88, Colt, DPMS. So let's go talk about the Colt. We're going to move some stuff around here. So bear with me while I move this. We're going to put this off to the side. It gets its own chair. And as I do with these, I'm going to move them over into the other chair. So let's move the Colt now. So this is the Colt. And this is their M forgery, you know. I bought this Colt for two reasons. One, I got a pretty good deal on it. And two, I love the green color. Now, when I bought it, it was all green with black furniture on it. Pretty standard, okay? This does have one of their last auto barrels that they produced. This is left over from their military contracts. So it is a true M4 profile barrel. It is the heavy bore, you know, chrome lined, all that kind of good stuff. This is only a 14.5-inch barreled gun, but it does have a welded and pinned flash hider on it to make it compliant. So if I ever do SBR it, that'll be the first thing that comes off when I change it out. Although I have to say, this goofy looking flash hider actually works really, really well. And it kind of works as a comp a little bit too, although I don't really think you need a comp on a 5.56 rifle. They're nice, but I don't think you need it. So things I've done, of course, like everybody else in the world, I change out to Magpul furniture. You'll notice that I used to, and I still do, but I run all my slings taped for two reasons. One is they don't rattle, and B is they less chance of them falling off or knocking loose when I'm going through brush and that kind of stuff. For those of you guys who don't know my background, I used to be part of a militia. I am no longer part of that militia. Instead, I do run it with a prepper group, and just things have changed, but I still carry over some of the things I learned while doing that, and I learned that from some very experienced veterans. So shout out to those guys. You guys know who you are. I really appreciate everything I learned with y'all. And things I've done with this gun. So furniture's been changed out. I do like running a foregrip. I know some people hate them, some people love them. I tend to run a modified grip on those when I'm running those, which means I don't hold it like this. I tend to kind of basically wrap up, and you know, it's kind of hard to show without holding my phone. But I kind of run a modified grip where I'm holding part of the forend, plus I'm holding onto the foregrip a little bit. Far as those things go, I left the stock trigger, and people are like, why would you leave a stock trigger in AR-15? They're gross. And they are gross. You're absolutely right. They're gritty, they're stagey, they're kind of bad. This is a single stage trigger, so it's not too bad. But it does have a little bit of a heavy pull. I have left it in the name of reliability at this moment until I can afford to get a Geisley. Just haven't been able to scratch that cash together yet for that. But when I get a Geisley, I know the Geisleys work, and I know they're 100% reliable. Till then, I am leaving the factory Colt trigger in there because I know it will make the gun go bang every single time. Again, things I've done. Added a backup sight, of course. It is co-witnessable through the Trigicon aim point. This is the aim point MRO Patrol. And again, this is just a simple red dot sight. I do run the kill flashes on these. I have been very, very happy with this optic. It has been rugged. I have banged it around, dropped it. You know, again, I trust this optic. Part of the reason why it's on this gun, because I trust this gun. Now, things that I added to it, added a white light to it. It's a 1,000 lumen light. I believe that any gun that you are planning on using for life or liberty needs to have a light. Just pure and simple. Half of our day is in the dark. You need to have a light on your gun, so especially a long gun. All right. Again, rifle's accurate. It's been I've been really happy with it. I've got a lot of rounds through it now, and it's just been at this point in time pretty much 100% reliable. I have had a couple double feeds over the last 3 or 4 years, and I believe those were mostly magazine related, not necessarily gun related, but magazine related. I number and mark all my mags, so if I get repeat issues with that same magazine, that magazine goes in the trash. The double feeds were all out of Magpul magazines, just so you're aware. None out of any of the metal mags, the OK mags, So those have all been 100%. It's only been the Magpul mags that I've had double feeds out of. So, and it's only been actually one magazine that I've had the double feed issue out of, and that one's been marked. So, and it may be going in the trash here pretty soon. I'm getting ready to do some shooting here again with it soon. I'm going to run that mag and see if it causes it again. If it does, it goes in the trash. I do like to run a D-pad for my light. Okay, this does have the momentary on. This does have the click out and lock it on, you know, for the light. Again, standard, you know, A2 style front sight post. They work. They really don't get in the way of your optic. That being said, if this is zeroed with your iron sight, it's an easier way to zero your red dot. Also, too, it kind of gives me a reference point. I like to sometimes just stick that red dot right on top of that front sight post like a lollipop, and it works good, and I've been really happy with this one. And again, no major modifications other than furniture, and putting on a really good optic on it. The bolts factory, the triggers factory, the buffer spring and tube are factory. So again, this gun has been reliable, and I wanted to keep it that way. So the only thing I changed was some of the cosmetic stuff to work better in my environment. Okay, all black guns are easy to see, so that's why mine's been spray painted and changed and had fun stuff done to it, and I like the green receiver. Now let's go to an AR-15 that I would not necessarily consider life and liberty. So this is, so we're going to put this one off to the side. Again, reliability is everything with life and liberty guns. Okay, put that one off to the side. So those are off to the side now. Now let's bring in one I would not consider a life and liberty gun, although it's been a very, very good gun for me. Okay. So this is the DPMS Oracle. As you can see, there is not much left that looks like original Oracle. Grip has been changed. Stock's been changed. Now this does have a commercial tube, which I have not found to have any extra, issues with reliability or anything along those lines. The tube spring works great. The buffer works great. The biggest difference is, I'm not going to pull it apart right now. For you guys who know, the commercial buffer tubes have like a slant cut in the back of them, and the standard ones have a flat cut in the back of them. I don't know why there's a difference there, but there is. So the military style cut. Anyway, so it was a little harder to find furniture for it. And I don't believe, I could be totally wrong on this, I don't think the commercial tubes are quite as heavy duty as the mil-spec tubes. So is there a chance of damaging this more? Absolutely. You could definitely damage this tube easier, I believe. Now that being said, I have staked, the castle nut. I did add a sling swivel here. Again, this was in use for a while, so it's taped up to reduce noise and rattle. I did change it out to a free float handguard, and I did upgrade the trigger. And I'm trying to remember the name of that trigger. Oh yeah, AIG. So I did an AIG free float handguard, and I did an AIG trigger. And the trigger is actually very, very good, very light, very crisp. I love the trigger. I love the feel in it. I have had a couple light primer strikes. So, was the factory trigger 100% reliable? Yes. Has this trigger been 100% reliable? No. But it's been rare. So it's like 1 in maybe 500, maybe 1 in 600 rounds. I'll get a click, no bang, and it's a light primer strike. I think it's due to that trigger and the trigger springs. That being said, I love the way the trigger feels. Factory original, DPMS bolt and carrier inside that. It is not a mil-spec carrier, but that's been fine. I've only had again, had some double feeds over the years. I had one really weird, case over bore, or case over bolt, should say, jam, and that was a really tricky jam to get it out, get apart. And that was probably induced by me, from having the gun at a weird angle or something along those lines. That being said, that's the only time I've ever had it happen, but it does have seen it happen before. But it did happen. It was a really hard jam to get out. I did learn a trick from it from James Yeager, how to get those out. Not that I met a guy, I watched a video on it. So this does run a Holosun optic on it. And the Holosun has been actually absolutely 100% reliable. This has been a little workhorse optic ever since I bought it. I had other optics on this thing. I've had this now for at least 5 years on this gun. I have not replaced the battery. It just turns off and on every single time. It's got the solar panel on top, so during the daylight it just runs without running the batteries down. This has been a great gun. I have not changed the muzzle device on the end of it, because when I was doing stuff with the militia, a lot of times we did force on force with blanks, and this works with the military blank adapter perfectly, where on that gun, not so much. So this has had blanks through it, it's had a bunch of rounds through it, it's had garbage rounds, it's had good rounds, it's had, I don't know, it's had everything in the world through it. So and actually it's been a very, very reliable gun overall. That being said, you know, is it a Life and Liberty gun? No, and the reason why is if I totally tore apart this gun and put all the different parts in it, you know, better bolt, better carrier, you know, change out the buffer tube, you know, that kind of stuff, yes, it would be, because I would trust those parts more than what DPMS put in there from the get-go. Not saying it's a bad rifle. Not saying it's a bad rifle at all. That's the only thing you got. It's better than nothing. And it's a whole lot better than a ROG. But again, hard use, hardware, you know, I would trust the Colt more than this, just due to the internal parts. Make sense? Okay. But that being said, it's been a great gun. I still will never get rid of this gun, and I like to shoot it still. And it's a great loaner gun for my friends. We go out to the range and stuff like that too, so it's fun. And again, I do trust it. But if I was going to go walk off to the end of the earth with only one rifle, and it was going to be an, you know, AR-15 style rifle, it would be the Colt. I just trust it more. All right, now moving on. So, let's talk about my oddballs. So let's talk about this gun first. This is the Century C308. This is kind of out of character there, because I probably should be doing the NA-14 next, but this is a 308 battle rifle. And this is kind of based on the SETME, based on the HK91. This is Century Arms' version of that, using parts kits. That's the Century Arms C308 Sporter. So it is only semi-automatic. It's unsafe right now. I do run a 1:5 optic on that, and I could probably run a heavier optic on this. That being said, that's enough for me. You know, I'm not secret here. I'm not the best long-range shot in the world. So, you know, 300 yards, I'm pretty good. 400 yards, I can hit, you know, man-sized target pretty reliably. I am not going to be putting down like super good groups at 400. So, just me. I shake a lot. My breathing control sucks. And, that's just me. But 300, pretty good. 400, again, this gun shines out that beyond those ranges. But it is, again, more of a battle rifle type rifle. So is it inherently as accurate as, let's say, a bolt action 308? Nope. It wasn't intended to be. It's got a relatively, you know, thin profile barrel. It does have Century's flash hider / brake on it. And I will tell you, just from experience, that works. That works great. That makes this rifle really, really usable. Now, that being said, 308 is kind of expensive, so I do not have millions and millions of rounds through this. I've probably got it since I've owned it. I've probably got, let's see, about 1,000. Another 1,000. I'm like 300. So I'm probably like 1,300 or 1,400 rounds through this gun since I've got it, which isn't a ton, you know. That being said, it's been actually 100% reliable. Literally 100% reliable. It has not malfunctioned. It has not had light primer strikes. It has not jammed. It runs these old clunky box magazines. These are all surplus mags, so who knows how they were treated in their lifetime. The damn thing just runs. The trigger is not great. Do not buy one of these thinking that you are going to get some kind of wonder trigger. It breaks clean enough. You know, it's got a good clean wall. You find the wall, and it breaks clean enough. It's just heavy, like heavy. I haven't measured it, but I'm guessing it's like 10 pounds, something crazy like that. I mean, you definitely know when you're breaking the trigger. That being said, it actually works. The rifle this is a heavy gun. All right, so you know, heavy trigger pull on a heavy gun, I think, is less of an issue than it is with a light gun, just because the mass of the gun isn't going to move around as much with a crappy trigger in it. There are upgraded triggers that you can get out there for them. Again, I just haven't done it yet. So again, the way this rifle is configured right now has been absolutely 100% reliable. That being said, if you are looking to buy 308 and reload it, this gun is probably the wrong gun for you, because it's got that weird HK fluted chamber thing that helps float the shell back out on its own gases to keep it from jamming. It absolutely just mars the crud out of the brass, like it tiger stripes the brass. It's just absolutely just destroys it. That being said, there may be you guys out there are actually, you know, able to, you know, reload that and recase that and all that kind of good stuff. It just seems like that would be a lot of work. I don't know if that would be the best. So, but again, this gun's been absolutely awesome. The iron sights, it uses this weird little rear diopter sight on there, and it's serviceable. Let's put it that way. It's serviceable. It's not my favorite, but it's serviceable. Front post is adjustable. That being said, even under this optic on just the battle side, the battlefield sight, I can see under the optic and still use my irons, so they still do work as a backup iron sight. The taller sights do not flip up underneath this particular optic, and this is just a really good, again, I buy things as I can afford them. I'm a working dude, guys. So, and a relatively inexpensive 1:5 power optic. That being said, it's been pretty good. Accuracy is alright. Glass clarity is decent. It's not like, it ain't Leupold, let's put it that way. But again, you can still use it as a backup iron sight, and this has been a really good rifle for me, and I won't complain about it a bit. And I would carry this rifle, but that being said, our forefathers and our guys that, you know, fought in World War II, that carried Enfields and that kind of stuff, those are some burly dudes, man. This thing weighs a ton, and I sure wouldn't want to be marching across Europe with it slung over my shoulder. But that being said, people have and done. So, again, great rifle. I've been happy with it. I know a lot of people crank on Sentry all the time, and their reliability has been suspect on certain cases. This one here, though, either I got lucky and got a really good one, or these are just working. So, happy to do it. So, now let's talk about the Mini 14. So the Mini 14, the Ruger Ranch rifle, it's a fun gun. Let's put it that way. It's a fun gun. You know, it's kind of like, it's got that, you know, M14, you know, action to it. It's, you know, popping off a lot of rounds, maybe, you know, shooting at a coyote here and there. You know, it sits in the back of the UTV. It hangs in the back window of your truck or something along those lines. It's fine for that. I mean, it really is. 100-yard accuracy is definitely good enough. But they do, you know, let's put it this way. They're not the most reliable rifle. They're not the most accurate rifle in the world. They tend to string shots. This one strings shots vertically. So as soon as that barrel warms up, it actually starts traveling up. So my first two shots will be point of aim at 100 yards. Keeping that same point of aim, as I run through a magazine on it, it just kind of crawls up the paper about 6-8 inches. It's just the weirdest thing in the world. It must be the heat treat on the barrels or the heat treat on the action or how it sits. I don't even know. I've seen videos on it, but it's weird. Weird how they do that. The action is fun. It's neat to shoot. It's a fun gun to shoot. My kids love shooting this gun. They like shooting this gun over the ARs. I think it just because it fits their size and body size better right now. And it's just kind of more traditional, how you hang on to the wood stock and that kind of stuff. And, you know, this rifle shot a lot of coyotes. So, does it work? Yeah, but it's not a Life and Liberty gun. I'll put it that way right now. Like, I would not depend on this gun to save me in a really bad situation. I just don't. I've had jams. I don't know. It's, again, I'll never get rid of it, but I just don't trust it as a life and liberty gun. That being said, if that's all you got, take care of it, make sure it works right, and you could have a lot worse. So, all right, piling up guns here, and you guys will notice that I'm not a big babyer of my guns. I just kind of flop them around. They're tools to me. They really are. I've got some collectible guns that I treat with kid gloves. These kind of guns, I don't. They just exist as tools. I don't baby my hammer. So this is my shotgun, and I've got a bunch of shotguns. Most of them are hunting shotguns. This is the only self-defense, quote-unquote, tactical type shotgun I have. And you guys are going to laugh, but this is a Mossberg 88. And super cheap gun. I think I bought it for $199 on sale at Big Five a couple years back. I just saw it there, and I was like, that's too cheap to pass up. So I bought it. I love it. It's been 100% reliable. It shoots great. It does not have ghost rings or anything like that. It's just got a simple front bead sight on it, which is more than enough for me with a shotgun. It runs slugs just fine. It runs buckshot just fine. It runs birdshot just fine. It's a pump shotgun. It just works. This one does have, the double rails on the pump, so, a little bit more built-in durability with that. They do use some MIM parts inside of it. I haven't had any problems with it. The biggest thing you'll notice about this when you pick up this, or you pick up a real high-quality shotgun, is how the action actually feels when you pump it. A brand new, high-quality, high-end shotgun, they run buttery. They're smooth. All the parts have been polished and smoothed, and all the rough edges taken off, and machining marks taken out of it, and all the the grooves and lands where the bolt slides on, those have all been polished and cleaned up. This one's serviceable. Okay, so what that means is that when you rack the action on it, especially when you first buy it, it does not rack as smooth as, let's say, I don't know, like a Winchester 1500 or something along those lines. But if you do buy one of these, what I would recommend doing is lubing it up and taking good care of it, and then basically getting a good coat of lube on there, and then work the action. I worked the action 1,000 times before I even took it out shooting the first time. I would recommend doing that. I really started to notice a difference after about 500 pumps on it, where those parts started to smooth themselves out against each other, and it really smoothed up a little bit. By the time I got to 1,000, it was definitely a better feel to it for sure. So I would definitely work the action a bunch before you take it out. But that being said, it's been 100% reliable. It works great. I do, again, this is one of my Life and Liberty guns. This lives right by my bedside, so I do keep a white light on it. Again, shotguns are great for home defense. Shotguns are great for, personal defense. I would say, maximum effective range with buckshot is going to be about 60 yards. The only reason I say that is by that time, your spread is getting to be so big, you really run the risk of hitting other people. Buckshot at 100 yards is still going to kill somebody if it hits them, but you're talking about the spread is just not realistic. Again, effective range, putting shots on target. And I'm much more comfortable with buckshot at about 40 yards. I wouldn't go more than that personally. Slugs. This one runs slugs and buckshot and birdshot just fine. Slugs, you can really push a shotgun out 100 yards really easily with a good slug. So I use rifled slugs in this, and I found it to be actually very accurate. So Life and Liberty guns, guys. What I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about guns and I'm thinking about long guns is, does it work? Can I count on it to work? Can I afford to buy it? So I was looking at a bunch of tactical shotguns for a while, and man, I just couldn't justify spending the money on it at that point in time. I couldn't right now either. So, so I bought this one, and I made it work. And if I ever get up enough money, would I go to a better shotgun? Absolutely. So that's kind of like that Ruger Mini 14. That's what you can afford. That's what you run. And that was one of the deals with this one. So far, I've been happy with it. Haven't had any issues with it. It's run like a tank. It's been a good shotgun. And again, that's all I gotta say. Sorry, kind of a long video today. I'm sorry I was away for a while, guys. I was on vacation and doing some traveling down in Mexico and doing some fishing. And other than that, it's been a while. So hope you guys are all doing good. Hope you guys see you again soon. Talk to you later.